Hello everyone, wish you all a very happy new year and welcome to today's webinar. Let's hope that this new year brings us a lot of joy and good health, something that we're all looking forward to. My name is Anita Reddy and I am a holistic nutrition consultant at Nutri007. At Nutri007, we offer one-on-one consulting for people who have chronic health issues, also for people who are looking to improve their overall well-being and health. We do offer corporate consulting on nutrition and lifestyle and nutrition tutoring for children and teenagers who want to improve their overall sense of their understanding of what's good food. I think it makes more sense, especially as they head towards college, that they make the right choices for themselves. My philosophy as a nutrition consultant is we are often bombarded with a lot of choices, a lot of variety. We also go through a lot of stress on a day-to-day basis. And more often than not, no matter how much we know, when the moment comes, we lay our hands on whatever is in access to us, whatever is most easily available, to just get past the meal and continue with whatever we were doing. I would say that to be able to stay in the moment, to be able to understand if at this point am I making a choice that's going to be nourishing to me or not? Am I putting in toxic information into my body or am I putting something that's healing to me? This takes a bit of thinking, a bit of reflecting on what we're trying to do. And that's exactly what I try to spread awareness about. Just remind people that give a few moments, take a little time to understand what our behavior is like. What is it that we want? Are we able to match our goals and our wants to what we're doing? Because at the end of the day, I know all of us want to do what's best for us and our families. We don't want to go wrong over there. I just think it's a lapse because of the amount of things we do. It's overwhelming, the stress, whatever we're going through right now at this point, it's too much for us. So my philosophy is to have a sound understanding of whatever we have available, and then that way we make good choices when we need to. Today's webinar is the second one in the series of webinars that we've been doing. We did our first in December 2020, and the topic was strengthening our immune system. That was more of a general overview of what the immune system is like, and we spoke about different vitamins and minerals and herbs and stuff that we could do to kind of have a better immune system. Today's webinar is about boosting our innate immune system, and I'm going to talk about that. But before that, so today's webinar is a joint collaboration between Nutri007 and Vitamin Life. Vitamin Life is a fantastic store with awesome people in Redmond Town Center. They carry a lot of good products, supplements, booster foods and superfoods. They also have a line of products that are for household cleaning, organic household cleaning products, free from toxic material. And they do carry some cosmetic products as well that are skin friendly. If you happen to be in the Redmond area, please do check them out. Go to their store if you can. And if you cannot, you can look them up on their online website, Vitamin Life. So let's move on to today's topic, boosting our innate immune system. Before I go ahead with the details, I just want to tell you that today's webinar has two segments to it. The first segment, for those of you who come from a medical background, may find it very superficial because I'm sure you would have read and researched much more in depth. And for the others, it may look like some new words being thrown around, some complex things. It isn't really. It's just words, some jargon which I'm going to explain. But the whole idea of doing this segment, the first 10-15 minutes, is because I think we need to have a very sound understanding behind the mechanism of what is happening on the inside of our body. What is the why behind the what? So if somebody tells us do this for your immune system, or we read somewhere that this is good for your immune system, I think as human beings we look for that conviction, that logic, and unless we have that connection in our minds that I'm doing this to improve this aspect and I'm doing that because I know what's happening on the inside, it stays longer and stronger and it's more consistent. So the whole idea of doing this segment is just to have that awareness and an understanding of what's happening behind the scenes. So please do bear with me for the first 10-15 minutes. If you're getting bored, I understand, but I will be connecting what I'm saying in the first segment to the things of like what are we supposed to do. When I come to that, you would understand why I did the first segment. So please do bear with me, and we will start our webinar now. And if you want to skip the first segment later on, once the session is up, you can forward and go on to the second segment of the webinar. So let's start off with what the immune system actually is. The immune system has two arms, or two parts to it, the innate and the adaptive. When I say innate, innate is something that we're born with. It comes as our natural defense mechanism. It's what quickly works when there is an intrusion, when something has attacked us. That is what comes into play. It's a beautiful day and you want to do some DIY stuff around the house and you accidentally cut yourself with a rusty blade. There is a cut, there's blood oozing out, but we don't bleed to death. Your innate system takes care to rush over there to the site of the breach, which is the skin, which is the very first barrier to protect us. And it does whatever it needs to. A series of complex processes happen behind the curtains and we are not even aware of what's happening. It looks so seamless, but it does what it needs to do so that we recover and stay free from infection. So ever since we took our place on planet Earth, we are constantly battling new organisms, constantly coming in contact with stuff that is alien to the body, and yet we manage to live, wake up every morning fresh, manage to recover from illnesses and get back to whatever we were doing. And all that is thanks to this immune system, and specifically the innate immune system, because it has a key role in taking care of things in the first few hours of invasion. We're going to try and understand a bit about that. The innate immune system has three parts to it again. The first is the physical. Like I said, when you have a cut and your first barrier is breached, which is your skin, so that's a physical barrier in the innate immune system. The mucus lining that we have in our respiratory tract, in our gut, in several other places in the body, we have a sticky substance. And the reason we have that is also because it works as a barrier. There is an intrusion, there is a pathogen, and I say the word pathogen, I'm talking about invaders, I'm talking about microorganisms that are not friendly to the human body. So when these pathogens attack us, we need something to capture them firsthand as soon as they're in. So that's the purpose of the sticky mucus that we have lined in our body. And if we talk about, say, for example, another very important aspect about the immune system is it's quick and it's non-specific. When I say non-specific, it really doesn't care who the invader is. Its approach is pretty much similar to whatever is coming by. It just has one role, and that is to stop the intrusion. So coming to the mucus layer, if we take the example as our gut, where we have our own microbial community, we have these organisms, trillions of them in the inside of our body, in the gut, lining the gut. And their purpose is to make sure there is no intrusion. So when I say intrusion, if you look at the wall of the gut, you have these microorganisms, the friendly ones, the friendly bacteria, the friendly flora, huddled together, and they're squished so tightly and they make sure that there's no gap so that the intruder doesn't make their way past into our bloodstream. And when a pathogen comes in and they start using our own resources to start multiplying, because you see here it's a sense of competition. The pathogen comes in, it wants to make its own community, and they want to start competing with what is already friendly to us on the inside of our body. And there is a competition for resources and space. And the day, it doesn't happen overnight, the day the pathogens have grown in number and we start seeing symptoms that we're falling sick, it's because there is a sense of there is a dysbiosis that's happening, which is you have an increase in the number of the pathogens and your friendly bacteria have gone down, your army has gone lower in number, and that's what we're trying to avoid. So that's how the microbial community works in the gut. So that's about the mucus lining. And if you look at the chemical barrier, you have some dust falling into your eyes and you produce tears. That's your body's way of showing defense. We have acid in our stomach. I think we spoke about this in the earlier webinar as well. Our stomach produces acid and hydrochloric acid, very acidic material. And one is, of course, we need that kind of acidity to break down the food that we're eating so that it's more absorbable. But the more important aspect about having acid in the stomach is to be able to neutralize any pathogens that have entered our system through food. So maybe the food was contaminated a bit, maybe not to the extent of poisoning us, but maybe there is some mold or some kind of infection that is unseen no matter what we've done. And so to take care of that contamination or pathogens, we have acid that our stomach releases, and we've evolved that way. Our immune system has evolved that way from eons. The other mechanism we have in the innate immune system is inflammation. You get hurt, you hurt your ankle, and all of a sudden there is swelling, and then it's bruised, there is pain, and that's inflammation. That's your body's way of trying to take care of a problem that has happened. So when we talk about inflammation, we are going to be talking about what are called as mast cells. Don't worry, it's just a kind of a cell. It has a role, and you'll understand more when I say what it does. So this is almost like detective work. They go around your body looking for suspicious objects. And it's like when they figure that there is something that's not wanted in the body, they kind of create what is called as histamine molecules, and that puts the body on an alert mode. And that's a signal for all your white blood cells. When I say white blood cells, I'm talking about your army, your soldiers, the soldiers of the cellular army. They kind of come to the site to rescue, and they create havoc. I mean, that's all that they need to know is there is an intruder and we need to be there. They really don't care who the intruder is. For all that you know, it could just be a dust particle and you would just sneeze and get over with it. But all this drama, all this chaos is happening because there is an intruder, and the mast cells, the role of the mast cells is to make sure that your body responds appropriately. Moving on, we are looking at leukocytes. Now, when I say leukocytes, they're there in several other parts of the body, but in the innate immune system, leukocytes are phagocytes. Phagocytes, the meaning of phagocytes, anything that can engulf, absorb, digest material that is not wanted in the body. So the process is called phagocytosis, and the organisms are phagocytes. So these leukocytes are treated like the VIPs of the body. They have access to go wherever they want except the brain and the spinal cord. When you talk about phagocytes, we have several phagocytes in the innate immune system. The first is the neutrophil. Now, the role of this neutrophil is to patrol the body. They just go around scanning, just like the mast cells, they're scanning and they're looking for any unwanted microorganisms, any pathogens in the system, and they are in abundance. We have a lot of neutrophils, and that is the reason why they can reach a breach site really quickly. And their role is to just kill the pathogen, to destroy the pathogen, and then die themselves. And that's what we see as the formation of pus. when we have a cold or whatever, in any situation when you see pus, it's because the neutrophils have done what they're supposed to do. They finish the job and they are dead as well, and then they're out of the body. Macrophages. This is another leukocyte, another phagocyte, and they are like the hungry monsters. They in their lifetime, in the lifetime of one macrophage, they can consume up to 100 pathogens. Difference between them and the neutrophils is they do not roam about as freely. They at a place they're kind of collected in place, and are very good at detecting if our own cells have gone rogue, like the cancer cells. So they're good at detecting that, and then they can neutralize them. Coming to the third kind of phagocytes are the NK cells. NK is natural killer cells. NK cells are very important in our body because they behave like the macrophages, but the difference is they are even more efficient when it comes to detecting cells that have gone rogue. And another very important quality of the NK cells or the natural killer cells is they can differentiate between a cell that is abnormal and not abnormal. And that's how they detect if cells have gone rogue. So a normal cell has a stamp on it. It's MHC, a major histocompatibility complex that they call, forget the name, but it's like having a stamp. It's like having a tag. If a cell has MHC component on it, then your NK cell knows that it's a perfectly normal cell and it doesn't have to worry. But if there is a cell that doesn't have that mark on it, the MHC mark, your NK cell does what it needs to do. It attaches itself to that abnormal cell and neutralizes it. So that is the job of the NK cells. Coming to the dendritic cells now. They have dendrites, maybe that's why we call them dendritic cells, and they are like the brain of the innate immune system. The reason being, they collect any crumbs, like crumbs from the Hansel and Gretel story, the crumbs that your pathogens have left behind. So they have left the body for sure, but they have left some traces. Our dendrites go and pick up that material, and it's called antigen. When I say antigen, it's just crumbs that your pathogens have left behind. The dendritic cells pick up that antigen material, the information about our pathogens, and they pass them on to the other arm of the immune system, which is the adaptive immune system. So we can say that these dendritic cells are like the link between the innate immune system and the adaptive immune system. The reason that dendritic cells do this is because the adaptive arm is the arm with memory. So for any future intrusion, any issues, the same pathogen may come back to our system, we can take care of it even more quickly if the adaptive system is efficient. So it has its role, it has its place, but the difference is the adaptive immune system takes days to kick in versus the innate immune system, which can happen in a matter of hours. The other difference between the adaptive and the innate immune system is the adaptive system is more specific. They know who has come into the body. They can differentiate between Mr. X, Mr. Y, Mrs. Z, whoever. They know that it's a different organism and the approach has to be different. And the antibodies that we've all heard of and we all speak about, they come from the adaptive arm of our immune system. So that was an overview. I hope I did not overwhelm you. So that was a brief description about how the innate immune system looks like. We are now moving on to the second segment of our webinar. And now I'm going to be connecting what I'm saying over here to what we discussed in the first segment so that it makes more sense. If you remember, when I said innate immune system, I said physical barrier. Physical barrier could be your skin. It could be the inside of your organs, the covering on the inside of your organs. All this, the organs and our skin, they're all made of what we call as the epithelial tissue, epithelial cells. It's just the name of what we have on that barrier. When your pathogen is trying to breach the very first line, we need to make sure that the wall is strong. We have as an example, you have your respiratory tract. You do not want a pathogen to even enter your respiratory system. even the physical aspect of that organ has to have a certain strength to be able to show that strength and rigidity and be able to fight that war at that entry level. And so we are going to be talking about how those cells, how well or how strong those cells can be. So it's like saying if your wall has spaces between it, it's easy for something to go through. Just like how we discussed about the mucosal lining in the gut. It's the same with our skin or a particular organ, how it's made. So you don't want gaps between those blocks that you have. You want the cells to be squished closer together, which means the cells have to have they have to have the permeability or the nature to be able to mold themselves so that they are closer together. That's one. And if you look at it on a cellular level, you need a stronger cell membrane. A cell membrane that's strong, it should be permeable to what can pass through, and it should not be for what is not allowed to enter. What do we do for a better cellular health? How do we have a strong cell in the first place so that we have better barrier at the skin or in any organ? How do you keep pathogens away? What do we eat? That's what dictates how you have good epithelial barrier health. That's how we strengthen it, is to eat a good Mediterranean diet. Now, this is a study that was done by the Oregon State University, where they said that Mediterranean diet, especially the olive oil that is used in the Mediterranean diet, works really well for this aspect of our immune system. Vegetables and fruits, different colors, as diverse as possible, a rainbow diet, omega-3, vitamin A, C, E, D, and a healthy protein diet. Why do we say a healthy protein diet? We are largely made of protein, and if you kind of project that to a cell, a single cell, even the components, the most components of a cell are also made of protein. And we cannot expect to have strong cells or strong membranes or cells being able to stick together more closely if we don't have enough junctional protein. And that is the reason why a healthy protein diet is very important. In our first webinar, we did talk about different vitamins and minerals and herbs that are important for the overall immune system. So I would have briefly visited that in the earlier seminar, but here we're talking specifically about good epithelial strength. And for that, vitamin A, when I say vitamin A, we think yellow, the bright orange kind of colors. So carrots, papaya, peaches, melons, squashes, sweet potatoes, eggs, avocados, and broccoli. Vitamin E. Vitamin E is mostly present in all nuts and seeds, specifically the sunflower seeds, pumpkin, avocado, mango, bell pepper, red bell pepper, collard greens, and spinach. Vitamin C. Yes, it's very weird, but the one vegetable with highest vitamin C or fruit is green chilies. They are highest in vitamin C. Bell peppers, guavas, blackcurrants, kiwis, broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, lemons, and oranges. So, and I think when we say vitamin C, orange comes first to our mind, but there are so many more vegetables that you can use for getting more vitamin C into your system. So that's about vitamin C. Vitamin D, the sun, undoubtedly. But if you're in a place where you don't get much sunshine half of the year, then you have to do something about it. We do not have very many food sources that can give us vitamin D3, but there are some like the egg yolk. So please don't toss them away into the dustbin. Have the egg yolk. The white is good, it's good with protein, but the yolk is what consists of the D3 that you're looking for, which is very healing for the immune system. Salmon, fish, sardines, cod liver oil, and mushrooms. But mushrooms give you D2, not D3. So that's about vitamin D. Where can we get our healthy protein from? Eggs, almonds, Greek yogurt, fish, poultry, lentils, pumpkin seeds, Brussels sprouts, and shrimp. I generally don't include, although there are many studies out there that talk about grains as healthy protein sources, but I think that's a different subject altogether. I think it's very important that we stick to what I just said about healthy protein sources. Omega 3. Omega 3 is from mackerel, salmon, cod liver oil, herring, oysters, sardines, anchovies, flaxseed, chia seed, and walnut. Coming to the other aspect in the innate immune system. So we spoke about the epithelial, strengthening the epithelial barrier, the first line, how you strengthen that. Now we're coming into the phagocytes. How do you strengthen? How do you get better NK cells? How do you get better natural killer cells? So when I say trying to get better natural killer cells, you're actually modulating your immune system. You're trying to strengthen the innate arm. This is all right for normal people in a normal scenario. But if somebody has a specific issue going on in their lives, if they are a type 1 diabetic, if they are undergoing chemotherapy, there's a multiple sclerosis issue, there is psoriasis, or you're taking immunosuppressants, I'd say please don't try and hack your immune system on your own. It's not correct. You should talk to your doctor or your consultant, whomever you're talking to about your health, and make sure that you take their advice and do whatever needs to be done. Do not overdose yourself with anything in particular to modulate that arm of the immune system. So how do we get better natural killer cells? There are studies which show that stress has a big impact on the health of our natural killer cells. Stress is something, I know that for most other issues in life, we may have a problem and then we figure out and we have a solution and it's over. Stress is not very easy for a lot of us. It can hit us in very mystic ways. It can come from work, financial stress, health stress, anything at all. It's so important that we address that first. No matter how healthy we try to eat or pop in whatever pills we want or take medications, it may not work if the underlying cause of all that is stress. So take some time to think about it and understand, reflect, and see what's going wrong and get the help necessary. Meditation works for stress. I'm sure you all know that, and exercise definitely works in taking out stress from our body. Good sleep. So restful sleep is very, very important. Unfortunately, a lot of us don't get enough of that, and more than the number of hours, it's being able to have that good quality sleep. So why is it that it's not happening? Is it the stress that's causing that to happen? Is it because we're not eating well? Whatever it is, it's very important that we take care of that to make sure that we have better natural killer cells to take care of us when the pathogen hits us. Exercise. Yep, we discussed this in the first webinar as well. Exercise, I was there too once upon a time, and I always thought the more I exercise, the more I'm going to feel better and have more bountiful health. But I have read some studies where they say that if you are into a lot of rigorous exercise and you're really pounding yourself, huffing and puffing and doing 2 hours every single day, you may actually end up doing more harm than good to the body. We do not want the exercise to start causing, stress at the cellular level. You don't want inflammation, too much of inflammation. Little inflammation is fine, but too much of inflammation, chronic inflammation. You do not give enough time to recuperate between workouts. And when we make such mistakes, and I have done that in the past, that's when you become very vulnerable. That's when it's very easy, if at that time, if there is a pathogen lurking around and it hits you, you're in a very vulnerable state and it's very hard to fight it out. So we need to use exercise in the right manner, doing the right kind of workouts, a good combination of strength training and stretching or yoga, Pilates, whatever you're doing, with a little bit of cardio wherever required. So a good fusion, a good workout plan with enough time to recuperate between workouts can do a lot of magic when it comes to immunity. Massages do help in boosting the health of the natural killer cells. And there is something called as forest bathing. It was mentioned in a study, in a Japanese study, where they said that forest bathing. Now, what is forest bathing? when you take a walk in a forest, in an actual forest, and you're able to inhale the smell, the aroma of the natural oils being produced by the vegetation over there, it has a very big impact on strengthening the NK cells. And in that study, they said that one visit to the forest and the effect of that can last for as long as 30 days of keeping your NK cells in tip top shape. So that's about forest bathing. If you have a forest to visit close by, please do that because it's going to do a lot of good to you. Vitamin A. The deficiency of vitamin A has a big impact on the NK cell health, because what happens is when you have a deficiency, you actually cause your gut mucosa layer to be compromised. So make sure that you get enough vitamin A. Zinc is very important. Zinc is present in shellfish, legumes, nuts, and seeds. Vitamin D. Vitamin D is very important over here because when you have a pathogen, to be able to neutralize the pathogen, you need some component that needs to be produced, like hydrogen peroxide. Those peptides are made only when you have enough vitamin D. So there goes the importance of vitamin D again. Omega-3. Now this is a counterpoint over here, because while omega-3 does a lot of good to strengthen the membrane health, overdosing ourselves with omega-3 can have a negative impact on the natural killer cells. So we need as much as we need, we just don't want to overdo it. So very important to remember about omega-3 here. Vitamin C, it's needed for what we call as apoptosis. Apoptosis is nothing but the death of a cell. So when you are trying to clear up the debris, when you're trying to clean up your system with the process of phagocytosis, you need the apoptosis to happen. You need the cells to, kind of finish off and get away from there. You need to clear the system, and you can do that only if you have enough vitamin C. So there was another study where they said that when we are exposed to chemicals, there was a group that was exposed to chemicals, and they saw that when they gave them their vitamin C, they were able to restore the natural killer cells to where they wanted them to be. So they saw a direct correlation between bumping up the vitamin C and the natural killer cells coming up again. And I think this is a very important point because, one day if I suddenly start taking more vitamin C, will it help me? Yes, maybe it will. But on a daily basis, we are also being exposed to a lot of toxicity from the air we breathe, the water we drink, the stuff we use in the form of hygiene products, whatever we eat. It's so hard in today's date to escape that toxicity around us. So I think vitamin C is something that we can incorporate as a family on a daily basis from food. And if you're really low, if you're ill, yes, it's very important to supplement yourself with vitamin C so that you don't fall prey to these pathogens around. White button mushrooms also help in bringing up the natural killer cells health up. Protein deficiency, again, when you are deficient in proteins, there will be less phagocytosis. You cannot clean up the debris, and there is less cytokines. Cytokines is nothing but signaling. It's a network between our immune system. They're talking to each other constantly. When we don't have enough good quality protein in the diet, they cannot have their conversations like they're supposed to be having, and that can create a lot of havoc and turn things into a mess. Management of diabetes. Now, diabetes is something most of us struggle with. It's like you have the nutrition, but you're unable to utilize it. And when a person is diabetic with high blood sugar levels, the chances of getting infected is much higher, and the healing is much slower. So I would urge that if somebody is pre-diabetic or they see that their blood sugars are soaring, the first thing to do is take care of them, definitely with medication, but there is a lot one can do with respect to lifestyle and food, which believe me, it really does magic. It really helps in controlling those blood sugar levels. Diet plays a very, very important role. So very important to take care of diabetes there. Vitamin B6 helps with increasing the number of lymphocytes. Lymphocytes come in the adaptive arm, your memory cells over there, the antibodies and the memory cells. So B6 helps with that arm of the of the adaptive immune system, and the B6 also helps them in becoming more mature in the function that they perform. Folate and B12. Now, folate and B12 is something that is needed for our RNA and DNA to be growing in number, to be replicating it. And for somebody, again, with a specific condition, they do not want their cells to multiply. If it's a cancer patient, somebody undergoing chemotherapy, this is not for them. You don't want them to be doing folate and B12 on their own, because maybe that is something they shouldn't be doing. So like I said again and again, everybody is different. We're all dealing with different conditions. So please do bear in mind that you want to take the advice of your doctor, your dietitian or nutrition consultant, whomever you're talking to, and make sure that you do the right thing for your body. So selenium, iron and copper in the right amounts also helps in strengthening the overall immune function. I'm coming to a very important point next, which is fructose. What does fructose do to our immune system? You are going to be surprised to hear that in USA, per person, we do something like 57 pounds of sugar per year, and that's really, really high. We have sugar all around us, breakfast cereals, and of course, cakes, pastries, chocolates, in a lot of hidden forms in the form of sauces and salad dressings. Please read the label. There is fructose everywhere, and let's see what effect fructose has on our body. So you spend a lot of money and buy yourself the most expensive vitamin D3 available from a supplement store. Or maybe you really squeeze out time because you know that the sun is important for you and you want to spend those few minutes or hours outdoors when the sun is out so that you're getting your vitamin D3. But if you've been consuming fructose, all that is a waste of time and money, because your body is not going to be able to absorb any D3. It just makes it redundant. It's no longer bioavailable to you because of the fructose that you're consuming. So while you're doing what needs to be done, there are things that you shouldn't be doing so that whatever you do makes more sense. Fructose inhibits glutathione production. Now, what is glutathione? Glutathione is something, our powerhouses. We have these powerhouses inside of our cells called the mitochondria. And that's what gives us the energy for whatever we're doing. That's what gives us energy for infections we're fighting. And those mitochondria produce glutathione. And if you're having fructose, it inhibits the glutathione production. And we need glutathione to clean up our system. We need it to fight the pathogens and clear them out of the system. So pathogens also use the molecules of fructose to camouflage themselves. So, even the pathogens have realized that this is a very intricate and complex immune system, and they really work hard to take care of this person. What is it that I can do? What are the resources that I can utilize to be able to get in there, to be able to multiply and take over? How do I get into their DNA? So they want to get to places that we don't want them to be in. And the fructose molecules are great for the pathogens to use and camouflage themselves and do what they want to do, to wreak all the havoc that they want to. I also want to talk about the antioxidant capacity of the cells over here. So what is oxidation? So when somebody has cancer, what's happening is there are a lot of free radicals being produced. Now, these free radicals, or reactive oxygen species as we call them, this is when you have all your biochemical reactions in the cell. This is material that is floating around. To be able to do that function, when that reaction happens, you have this floating around and you want to take care of it. And that is the reason we stress so much on consuming foods that are high in antioxidants. So all the A's and C's and E's and D's that we spoke about, they are high in antioxidants. And we need antioxidant rich food so that we're able to clear those free radicals and boost the overall health of the cell. And so what we discussed so far with respect to high protein or consuming a lot of good quality vitamins, that's what it does. It increases the antioxidant capacity. So this was about today's webinar. Just to summarize it a bit for you, we spent the first 10-15 minutes to get an overview of what the innate arm of the immune system really looks like. And that helps us to understand, we could understand more about what we can do with respect to strengthening the epithelium, the strength of the epithelial barrier. And then we also understood how we can have better natural killer cells and neutrophils and macrophages. What do we need to eat for that? We understood a bit on the antioxidant capacity of the cells, what vitamins we need, the effect of stress, the harmful effect of stress on natural killer cells, how important restful sleep is for natural killer cells, and then the harmful effects of fructose for the overall immune system. So what I'd like to say at this point is, just to give ourselves a perspective, just to wrap it up. When I say this food, this food, this food for A, and this for C, and this for D, one may take it on the face value and say, you know what, I can just go get myself this and I'm going to be fine. It doesn't work like that, really. At the end of the day, it comes down to the quality of food. What is the quality of the food that we are consuming? Is it organic? Is it free from all the toxic material that's floating around us? Is it fresh? What is it? Where is it coming from? Is it local? Is it seasonal? Is it something that I need? All this is so important for us to consider when we are trying to eat a balanced diet, a healthy diet. So, because whatever we are putting in is information for the body. So whatever food I put in is what my friendly flora recognize, and their role is strengthened. They can do a better job at defending my system only if I give them information that is healing and not the information that is actually toxic. Sometimes we feel, look, it's a small thing, it's just a chocolate, and I just put it in and it's gone down my throat and my body has a way of taking care of it. It does. In the short run, you really won't understand what's happening. But in the long run, when that turns into a habit, when we start looking at it as a comfort food, when we think that we're feeling all right because, the glucose just hit the spot and we're like, I'm fine, I'm feeling good actually. I feel my stress has come down. Short term, yes, you have taken care of your stress by consuming whatever you need to consume from your comfort foods. But what is the impact you're having long term? If a pathogen comes your way in the next 2-3 weeks and you've done enough of having your comfort foods that are actually not good for the body, you have compromised in your overall immune system. It could cost a life. What I'm trying to say is it's so important to pay attention to what we're eating, what we're feeding our family, because the impact it has on how your army works is tremendous. So I hope you got a fair understanding of what we need to do to strengthen the innate arm of the immune system. That brings us to the end of this webinar. So once again, let me just remind you that we're all different. We all have different conditions. Sometimes it could be as simple as I'm doing everything right, but why is it that I still don't feel bountiful and healthy and happy? Maybe there is something going wrong. It helps to talk to someone who can counsel you, who can figure out what's happening for you and put things into a perspective so that you make better choices. Even if there is no real chronic condition, depends on how you're feeling at the end of the day, how you're sleeping at the end of the day, how productive you feel. It's basically trying to do the best you possibly can, doing the best that you're made to do. So that's about today's webinar. So once again, if you would like to consult with me, I'm a holistic nutrition consultant at Nutri007. Please do visit my website. I have a 20% off going on at this point till next week. So please do visit my website to know more about me and Nutri007. Vitamin Life is also offering a 10% off of all of their products and even in their online store. So you could also avail that discount that they're offering for products at Vitamin Life. For both, for mine as well as Vitamin Life, the code is the same. It's New Start 2021. New Start 2021 is the code. So please do visit Nutri007.com and visit Vitamin Life in Redmond if you can, or visit their online store. It was great talking to you today. I hope the session was useful, and I really hope everybody has an awesome 2021. Thank you so much, and see you next time. Bye-bye.